Good morning, good afternoon, and hello, guys. Happy Hump Day. As you can see, I am honoured to be joined by the supremely talented Peter Gilmore. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, and happy December. Happy December.
Yes, we are in December. We have almost got through 2021, which I think of 2020, just plus, because that's what it felt like.
Oh God, yeah. Don't worry. I mean, over here it could get worse. It could still get worse.
It could, but isn't that just kind of the British mentality? You always just think it could get worse.
Yeah.
It's just how we look at things.
Absolutely. Look, I've got my Tesco Christmas order booked. I'm good. I don't care what happens now. I'm going to lock the doors and just hide.
Man's going to get his turkey, damn it, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. All done.
Just before we jump into it and really kind of get into talking to our fantastic guest today, let me say hello to everybody. So we are joined today by Ren Zero. Good to see you. Shane Nolan, good morning. We've got both of the Bash Brother Wrenches. We've got Mark and Chris. Hello, guys. We have got Leah Rose. Hey, sweetheart. Arwen Avalon, my co-host, later on this evening. Hello, honey. Good to see you. Let's see who else. Snorter Poopers. Hey, he says hello to Peter.
Hey.
Saint Ravage, welcome to you. Good to see you. Let's see. Keely Chair, Roll Tide Keely. Good to see you as well. Let's see. I know I saw D-Bud Martin as well in the chat as well. Welcome, guys. Hope you are having a fantastic Wednesday so far. So, Peter.
Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Hump Day already.
I don't know what day it is anymore.
They just kind of blur into one after a while, don't they?
This is the problem when you work for yourself. It's like weekends don't exist, so therefore it's just a day. It's just another day.
Yes, and you are working incredibly hard at the moment, aren't you?
Yes. I am indeed, yeah. During Jack the Ripper, yes. It's been fun. It's fun so far, but it's been hard work. It's been long hours.
I can imagine. I mean, I just looking at the Indiegogo at the moment. You guys are absolutely smashing it. It is done incredibly well. That's a testament to both to your incredible artwork, to Mandy for writing the story, but how much research did you have to do? Because, talking about Jack the Ripper, obviously you have to get the facts right.
You do have to get the facts right. It's not, I mean, we're taking some liberties, because obviously it's about vampires and stuff like that. But it was more a case of write the story and then we'll fit the other stuff, get a good story going, and then we'll fit the research stuff in around it. So it's more like I was researching the police, for example, the police uniforms. Now, during the length of the book, the police uniforms, because at certain different dates, different things happened, and the uniforms changed. So at one point in the book, like, they look one way, and then later on they look another way, just to be accurate. And so in the script, it'll say like the street or wherever it's taking place. So then I'll have to research that street and research what that street looked like at the start of 1888, and then how much it changed.
Oh my gosh!
And I didn't need to. I know I don't need to do that. I know I could have just drawn random Victorian buildings, but
Did you find it was kind of a rabbit hole when she started researching it?
Insane! It's absolutely insane. I mean, even just checking stuff out and looking through things. There's like I found a forum dedicated to, and this is dedicated to the Jack the Ripper case. The whole website was, but the particular part of the forum I was looking at was dedicated to what time of day it started raining.
What relevance does that have?
I don't know. I suppose they're trying to crack the case. So, whether there's rain or, that kind of stuff. Because the streets of London back then were filthy.
Yes, they were disgusting.
There was kind of from what I've gathered, there was kind of a greenish powder covering the streets, and the green colour comes from, well,
Yes,
people tended to relieve themselves in the streets quite a lot and throw chamber pots out the windows and whatnot. In fact, that's in the prologue section of the book. Oh, poor,
yes,
the
Gardeloo.
poor,
Yes.
yeah, the poor lady of the night wandering the streets gets a whole pot full of stuff thrown over her. It's not for the kiddies, this one.
It's not for the kiddies.
Kiddies would probably think that was funny, but yeah. There's lots of gore, lots of nudity. Yeah, there's nudity.
Sounds good to me.
About Victorian whores, so.
Saint Ravage pops up with a comment that says, "You can tell how hard Peter's been working because he looked like Pierce Brosnan before he started this book."
Dude. Look at all the old live streams. I've got like nice coiffed hair and perfectly trimmed, and it wasn't this white. Although to be honest, that's just comics in general. Working in comics, it'll age you. Especially around comics and things like that. Yeah. The stress is insane.
You can tell that this particular project and all the other ones that you worked on have been a real kind of passion for you. Just going back a little bit though, how did you become an artist? Is this something that you always wanted to do? Is this something that you knew you always had an aptitude for? Or is it just...
I always, since I was a kid, I've drawn stuff. I went to art college, did all that kind of stuff. But while I was doing that, I got a part-time job working in a hotel behind the bar, which kind of led to going that way as a career, and I became a chef and all that kind of stuff. So I was a chef for like 20 years, still doing art, as well. But I mean, one of the pubs I worked at, they have these like the chalkboards they have in pubs. They'll have like just competitions, like Budweiser run one every year and whatever, and we came second in the international competition because of my chalkboards. I used to get a little bit carried away doing the chalkboard. Oh, that's Pete gone for a day then.
Comes back with this hugely elaborate design. Yeah.
Any chance of you going into the kitchen and cooking some food? Nope.
Nope. Busy on the chalkboard.
Well, to be honest, like stuff like the big competitions, the prize money and the stuff that the pub or restaurant got given was like well worth taking the time to do stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. Like you say, if it's like an international competition, that must have been, really strong.
I was just disappointed we only came second. But, what can you do?
Second is still impressive.
Yeah, and to be honest, that was only like that was the second time I kind of got anywhere with competitions in art, because the first time was in 1977. At the age of 7 years old, I was on Blue Peter. Well, I wasn't. My artwork was on Blue Peter.
You got on Blue Peter.
Anyone, not me, my artwork. So anyone who's not from the UK, Blue Peter's like a kids, what would you call it, like a magazine program sort of thing?
I guess so. Yeah. They had like little segments, and it was all feel good. It was almost kind of like the Boy Scouts, but
it was, wasn't it? Yeah. There was another show similar on the other channel, but that was like a little bit more rough and ready, and
Blue Peter was a little bit more proper, and you got badges. Everybody wanted a Blue Peter badge.
Oh yeah, I've got a badge. I've got a Blue Peter badge for my portrait of the Queen on her Jubilee. That's why, the Silver Jubilee in 1977.
That's a collector's item. People were fighting to
get
those badges.
It's a proper one as well. It's like, because they did proper ones and they did little round ones that weren't as,
I'm guessing you have the one that's shaped like the little shield.
Yes,
yeah.
Got a shield one. Not one of the really cool gold ones, because they were like people who, I don't know, saved people from burning buildings and stuff like that. Not quite the same thing drawing a picture of the Queen, but
still very cool. It's a great claim to fame. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I've tried to find the episode, but obviously all that stuff's lost now, I guess, because they never kept stuff.
The BBC were kind of bad for that sort of thing, weren't they? They never really backed anything up that they did.
Yeah. We kept the episode of the elephant crapping on the floor.
Yep, Shane Nolan brings that up. Yep.
Yeah. Kept the elephant shitting, but never saved my awesome picture. Oh well, never mind. And I never got it back either. So there's like,
Yes, they never did send the pictures back, did they? No.
no, I'm probably really remembering it as being awesome, and it wasn't that good because I was 7. So she probably looked more like Picasso or something. I'm guessing. Yeah, participation award.
Oh, but I love that. I'd love to hear that people, especially people that become full-time artists, go into the business. They start off young. It's something that is encouraged in them when they're
Yeah.
kids.
Well, when I was at school, our art teacher at school told me I was crap and I shouldn't bother.
Glad you didn't listen.
Yeah. And then when I first started art college, there was one of the lecturers. One day he said, "Tomorrow, bring in a picture that you think's awesome. Bring in." And he's expected everyone to bring paintings and stuff. Like a picture of a painting or whatever. I took it, and you know what? It's so long ago. It was either Watchmen. I think it was Watchmen. I took Watchmen in, and I'm like, "This is cool." I think it was Watchmen, and massive argument, and I ended up getting kicked out of the class for that because it's not proper art.
Are you saying, Peter, that you were a little bit of a rebel when you were at school?
I was a dick. No, I wasn't. No, at school, I was a swat.
I liked school, I've got to admit, but it really depended on the subjects. I loved English and history and those sort. But anything to do with math, I
got an A in my maths.
Did you? I was terrible at math. Still am, but
I think I got an A in maths and an A in French, which is weird because don't ask me to speak French now. I know a little bit. A soupçon.
Oh, oui, oui.
Oui, oui, mais oui. Comment allez-vous?
You see, guys, we're multilingual on this channel. What could I say?
Yeah, we did. Weirdly, we did French and we did Spanish.
We did German and French.
Well, everyone did German. All apart from us, our school decided. I think it was because the French teacher spoke Spanish really well as well, so it was cheaper just to keep, use one teacher for both.
That sounds about right for British education, yes.
Yeah.
Just going back to your current project with the Jack the Ripper, was this a subject that you already had an interest in, or was it because when Mandy brought you the idea, is it something that kind of ignited it within you? It was you.
My idea.
It was your idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually, because me and Mandy, we're still going to do it, but we were kind of working on another idea. I don't know if we've mentioned it. I think we have. It's basically like more of a 80s slasher thing, but black and white.
Nice. I love the 80s.
I think we've mentioned it. Yeah, I think we've mentioned it. If not, oops. But because I'm a huge fan of like Bernie Wrightson, and his Frankenstein is just my favorite thing ever.
Yes. The detail that he put into his artwork, not just in the characters in the foreground, but the background as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I always wanted to, because I used to do quite detailed stuff, and then I kind of started working more in an American style, and then now this book is like a combination of the two. So it's my kind of love letter to Wrightson. Not that I'm anything like, as he was a legend, so I'm not going to say I'm anything like Wrightson, but it's my humble attempt. Because I mean, there's some of the pages I don't think we've shown them off yet, or we might have done. I can't remember what pages we've shown and what we haven't. The ones we've shown are definitely all on the campaign somewhere.
Yes. Well, let me bring up the campaign and we can go through some of them, if that's okay. Yeah, that would be.
I think
awesome.
the more recent pages are kind of in the updates, I think.
Let's have a look. Because I know you've got some incredible covers. I love this cover.
Yeah, people like that one. It's yeah, it was going to be black and white, but a little bit of insider knowledge here. We realised that we were looking at Indiegogo, and obviously we study all this we study how other campaigns are doing. We study what works, what doesn't. Bit of trial and error on our part as well, and we discovered that. So when you're just browsing Indiegogo for comics, the little thumbnails, thumbnails that are in black and white don't do as well. Books don't do as well.
Really?
So the reason that cover was colour was kind of because of that, partly because of that.
I really like the little pop of colour, but I'm one of those people that love black and white. I love black and white films as well. I know a lot of people seem to kind of stray away from those, but there's something really that grabs my attention. And
I've discussed this before on other things. I did actually colour a couple of pages from this book, and it was just such an abomination. I mean, my colours are good, but it's just like, no, keep it black and white.
But look how beautiful this is.
They're even better now. I mean, these are like the pages from, well, how long have we started this? Like 3 months, was it? 3 months, 4 months?
Yeah, about 4 months.
So these are all, I mean, they're still the same, but they're improved. They're all improved now.
And this scene was one that you were mentioned earlier, isn't it? With the with the lady.
When she gets all the crap thrown on her. Yeah. I mean, she's having a bad day, and it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just gets worse for her, bless her.
Well, I say bad to worse. I mean, this is Elizabeth Jackson. She wasn't technically. I mean, some people say she's a Ripper victim. Some say she could have, but she wasn't. You know, the way she was killed was different than the standard Jack the Ripper affair.
Yes.
But the reason this project came about, because I wanted to do a book like Wrightson, but I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't do Frankenstein because he'd done that. And I considered Dracula, but I thought everyone does Dracula sort of thing. You know, it's too popular, and I want to do something different. So there was a thing that the Highgate Vampire was a thing back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s over here.
Yes, I remember it.
Yeah, it was on the news. It was in the newspapers. No one ever caught him, but he was real. He was definitely real. So I was researching that because it was originally just going to be a book about the Highgate Vampire. And I was looking at that, and I was researching Highgate, and the first person to be buried at Highgate was this woman, Elizabeth Jackson. So I tried to find out more about her, just to see, you know, what's what. Because me and research. You can't really research the Highgate Vampire himself because he's not real.
He's allegedly.
Allegedly
still
not
think
real.
Something went on.
Something definitely went on. Probably
similar
just a pervert.
to Spring Hill Jack, for example.
Oh yeah. Now you see, that was another one. That was another one that we could have done. I was toying with doing Spring Hill Jack.
Yeah.
Or maybe bringing him into this, but maybe later. But that's a fascinating thing as well. So go on.
It is, absolutely. Let me just grab this super chat really quickly, and a huge thank you to the great Mexican Iron Man. Good morning, puppy. It says, "Hail, purple be still my heart, and good day to the great Peter Gilmore. I'm a huge fan of your work, and I'm a backer to this campaign already. I want to thank Peter for his work and support of Mandy." Well said.
Yeah,
well said.
There
Thank you.
Yeah, we're a well-oiled team. Kind of. On the surface, under the water, we're like paddling like hell. But everything that comes out is fine. It comes out fine the other end. Yeah. So what was I saying? Where was I?
We were talking about Highgate Vampire. Yes.
So, I was researching. The first person to die and be buried at Highgate was Elizabeth Jackson. So I was trying to find out about her, but there's nothing about it. And the only thing that kept coming up was Jack the Ripper. The Ripper victim. So that's how this it popped into my head. It was like, oh, vampires. Because she died twice. She basically died in my head. She died in like 1830 something. And then she's back again in 1888. So it's like, aha, she was clearly a vampire because she died twice.
She came back.
And that's where it all came from. And then I did all the Googling to make sure no one else had done it. And there were a couple of bits and pieces, but no one had ever done a comic and no one's done a movie or a game or anything like that. Apparently EA were going to do a game where Jack the Ripper was a vampire hunter. Apparently. I found this out after we'd started the project, but they cancelled it. I guess because, I don't know, not woke enough.
Yeah, see, I could kind of get behind that. And do you think that because Jack the Ripper is such a, a well-known story, because it's never really been solved, because there's so many conspiracy theories about it, I think that's why it's lasted as long as it has?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's also the imagery that goes with him. It's the top hat, the cape, the dark, murky streets of London with the fog, and I think there's a little bit of kind of the gothic horror that creeps into it, and stuff like Sherlock Holmes. It all kind of leans into that kind of same atmosphere, that same kind of vibe. I think that's yeah. And it's still to this day, there's people debating who he was or she. That's another theory.
Or she,
could be.
yep,
Yeah.
there is, or they even. I've heard, theories that there were, there's an actual killer and then there was a copycat killer.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, one of the ones I like is the last victim was, do you know what? Complete blanking on all the names, but anyway, the final victim. There's theories that was the target all along. And the other murders before was just to put people off the track of doing the final one. And the theory is it was the husband of the final victim. Because she used to be a prostitute, and then she got married to her husband, and she stopped all the prostitution and became a nice lady, whatever. Then she got bored and started doing the whoring again. And he was not happy.
Everyone's got to have a hobby.
Yeah. So there's that one. And my personal theory is that it's because of all the surgical elements to the murders. My personal theory is that it was really hard to get cadavers to operate on, to practice on. I think it's a bunch of medical students. I think it was a group of people.
Well, I think that would make sense. I mean, we had things like the body snatchers. We had Burke and Hare in Edinburgh that were very famous as well. It was at the turn of the century when we didn't know much about the human anatomy, and the only way to learn was to cut up corpses. But corpses were, as you say, were in very short demand.
Yeah, exactly. And they were kind of cracking down on the grave robbers business, because it was perfectly fine. It was kind of allowed for a while. It was the police just went, whatever.
Yeah, they
just body, that's fine.
Kind of turned a blind eye, because technically it's not illegal to steal a body, but if the body's wearing, say, clothing or jewelry, then you could get prosecuted.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's weird. The rules and stuff around that were very sketchy. Plus, it didn't help that back then there was actually 2 police forces in London, and they didn't really cooperate, which is probably one of the reasons why the whole police investigation into Jack the Ripper failed miserably.
Yes.
Because they keep information from each other, they try and outdo each other,
Yes, we had the regular police, and then was it Cable Streets? Were they called? It was more like the
there was the Metropolitan Police, and then there was just the bobbies, the coppers.
Yes, your street bobbies.
Yeah. And then all the different branches, and it's kind of also the period where detectives started being a thing. We had H Division, which was there was a bunch of detectives involved there. Some people got fired from working on the case, and then when they were really flailing to make any breaks in the case, they kind of brought people back, and it was such a colossal clusterfuck that it's not surprising that they never found out who it was.
Peelers, thank you, Shane Noland. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's Snodder People's the City of London versus the Metro. Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those things, London, because it's such a huge city, and even back in Victorian time, it was just this huge sprawling metropolis. It was very easy for people to disappear, and
this is it.
ladies of the night did.
the area around there where it all took place, right at that very time, there was a lot of people from other countries that had come in to work on. They got people in to work on they were putting tram lines in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first time that the trams were coming into London. So the streets were all in upheaval, and that kind of pushed the prostitution out further into the shadows, sort of thing, into the alleyways and the back streets. So it was just prime for Jack to do his thing. Not that I'm saying I'm singing his praises. Go on, Jack. Yeah,
but it was it was the perfect kind of storm for
it
somebody.
Was. It really was.
Who was of that bent to take advantage of.
They were. I mean, the police force wanted more. They wanted more coppers, but the government were denying them. There were no street lights in certain areas, and because all the works to do the tram lines were on, they couldn't afford to put street lights in. So there's a lot of things that play into it.
Yes, Saint Babbage says the other thing that I love about this campaign is the variety of the perks, from t-shirts to art prints, the entire Stuntman Comics catalogue, awesome selection. That I would absolutely agree with. How did you come up with the perks? What for the, did you have things in mind that you really wanted to add to this campaign?
Yeah, it's kind of just our standard thing at the moment. I think we did on Super Dead before, we did, and no, not so much on War the Wizard, but Super Dead. We did like the T-shirt, the whatever. But this is the first time we've done the Stuntman Comics bundle, which is cool. And it's also the first time we've done. So we did. You've got the stretch goals, where people are getting trading cards that look like playing cards.
Yes.
There's that, but then we decided also to do like incentives. So if you're back before a certain date, you get this print. If you're back,
yes. And
like
looking at these, how many of these have sold out? It's incredible.
Well, yeah, this is all the original artwork for mostly for these, for the prints. They were selling out within seconds of being added, which is awesome. It's fantastic.
There's the T-shirt. I love that T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I could have cheated, and because it's got like the police, the Illustrated News logo at the top and all that. I could have cheated and just taken them from Google, but no, I'm an idiot. So I redrew it all by hand.
That's incredible. But that's a testament to how much you care and how much detail you put into the work.
Yeah, I'm always wary of stuff like that as well. I don't like having someone else's stuff there. Do you know what I mean? Like the Ghastly Murder as well, where it says Ghastly Murder and the bit underneath about leather apron. That's from the original Wanted poster for Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
So yeah, redrew all that, and it's just also damaged all these old posters and whatever. So you have to clean them up. Plus, I mean, you couldn't use them. If I grabbed a picture of Google and tried to blow it up big enough to a good enough resolution for a T-shirt, it'd be blurred as hell,
Yes,
so
I found that.
Have to, yeah.
Some
people don't care. I do.
That's because you're a professional.
I am.
Mark
I think
said that's some fine artwork, and I absolutely agree with him. When you were designing the character, did you have a particular idea of him, or did he kind of evolve as you were drawing?
It was a weird one. It was like, because no one knows who it is, I don't want to stamp my thing of what he looked like, So I gave him a thought. Right, he needs a mask. And I'm kind of into manga and stuff a little bit as well. So there's elements of that to the look of him with the white mask and the Plus, I mean, if you're drawing things that all set at night time, you need a little bit of white in there. Otherwise, you're just drawing black thing. It's just a shadow, and yeah. But like I say, you'd have to constantly be drawing him from the back or the side, or having his hair.
Yes, or having him in shade, in shadow, as you say. Yes, a bit like Judge Dredd, for example. You never see his face.
Yeah. Well, apart from that movie.
Yes, yeah. We don't talk about that movie.
I liked the Angel Gang in that movie. I thought they were great. I thought the rest was a bit, but the Angel Gang were good.
I liked Carl Urban's Dredd, Stallone.
Oh yeah.
He was okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm saying I just like the Angel Gang.
Yeah.
Like, Mean Machine look cool.
I agree. I've got to ask with this picture, is this kind of an homage to the Universal monsters?
It is
The
indeed. That's
yeah,
actually a kind of homage to the original Frankenstein poster.
nice.
Kind of, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if anyone looks it up, you'll see. You'll see where I got it from. But I kind of added bits to hand and whatever. That's not on the original poster.
I love that. I love the whole damsel in distress idea. I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the prints and stuff that we've done have kind of leaned into like not parody, but homage to different things.
Yes.
So there's like the Army of Darkness one, you know, the Evil Dead. That's in there, and yeah,
Yes, kind of that. There we go.
yeah, that was a pain. That was a pain.
I love the detail on that one. Why was that one so difficult? Was it the perspective, or was it,
It's a little bit of the perspective, and also the like the lighting and the colours on it. It's because it's weird. It's weird. It's got to look exactly right. I wanted it so that if you just glance at it, you'd think it was the Army of Darkness.
I
So
think
couldn't do it too different.
I think my favourite of this bundle has got to be this one, and I just love that everything's censored out. It just cracks me up.
So many censored, yeah. So many censored bars on that one. Yeah, we were going on to Raging Golden Eagles show, and Raging Golden Eagles fan base, they like the ladies, they like the boobs, you know. So I was right, I'll do this. We'll do this, and I started it like 4 days before we were going on. So I thought 4 days, plenty of time. I was literally still drawing that 10 minutes before we went on the show. Because there's so many ladies on there, and like you can't really see them. I think there's better versions of them in the updates section on the campaign.
Yes, I'll see if I can find it in a minute. But just before I do, we've got a question from Mexican Iman. Thank you again. He says, Mr. Gilmore, I'm excited about independent comics like yours. Question: do you believe independent comics will save this medium? I certainly do.
Yeah, I basically agree. It's look, I mean, the mainstream comics are just, they're doing their thing. They don't care what people really want. There's a lot of virtue signaling and a lot of like wokery going on. It's just let them do what they're doing now. I mean, I used to get angry about it, and I still get a little bit annoyed every now and then, but I just kind of ignore it because what we're doing is better. Yeah, I think indie comics are the future, especially with crowdfunding and whatever.
Mhm.
Although I can now see, like, I can see as you get like more popular with the crowdfunding, I can see people moving into just selling stuff through websites, maybe not crowdfunding, just financing the next book from the previous one. I mean, we've made quite a bit on this one. Whatever, 55,000.
55,000, yeah, and still
Yeah,
growing. Yep.
it's still, yeah.
Yep.
We're not quite there yet where we can afford to just like the next book say we're not going to crowdfund it, we're just going to make it and sell it and put it out there. We're not big enough. You need to be huge to do that.
But that's the thing, isn't it? You know, we've got the mainstream media and mainstream comics that really have gone downhill. I would say at least in the last 10 years. You know, people aren't enjoying what's coming from Marvel and DC, but what they are loving is what's coming from independent creators, because it's guys like you that are giving the audience what they want to read and what they want to buy.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to adhere to their weird little rules and stuff either. We can do what the hell we like. And your success is literally based on the customer, you know.
Yes,
make something people want and they will come and buy it, you know.
that's a novel concept.
It is. Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? Giving people what they actually want, you know, is a success.
Well, actually the key is giving people what they didn't know they wanted. That's the key to it. Because I mean, there's people want to return to like old school comics, you know, how things used to be, with it where heroes are heroes and horror's horror, and you know,
Yes, yes.
And
They just want escapism. That's all we want from, just not just
yeah,
comics, but TV and movies as well. Just want a break from real life. We don't want, modern day politics or modern day
exactly.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be a real struggle trying to come up with something that's going to hit with people, that people are going to love. It's almost random, trying to guess, trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a hunch that people would dig this one. I kind of had a feeling.
I think so. I think you've hit on a real winning formula. People love the horror genre. People love the mystery behind Jack the Ripper,
Yeah.
and people love your work.
I mean, I was kind of before I went to Mandy with the idea, I kind of like just waved the name of the book under a couple of people's noses just to see what they thought.
Just to
Like
test
in
the
private,
water.
just test the water. Pretty much everyone I showed it to was like, "Do it. You need to do that. That's awesome. Do that."
I
So
love the idea of it, I've got to admit.
so then I took it to the Summers lady, and she was like, "Yeah." I think I actually might have drawn the first few pages as well, like first 2 pages before I showed her. I do that. I'll like draw the stuff out, and then it's easier.
It's easier than explaining it, I would imagine. Yeah, you can actually show the idea.
Yeah.
And just quickly, I want to say a massive thank you and warm welcome to Cardinal Sin, who's just joined. Thank you, honey. He's become a berserker.
Awesome.
Great to see you as always.
That's what we want. When channel's growing, that's what
Absolutely, we do. We have an amazing channel. We have an amazing community, and that's the one thing that I've noticed, especially over these last 18 months. There's so many people there. Everybody's rising at the same time. Everybody's there to help each other.
Yeah, and this is it. You've got to do that. You've got to help each other. You've got to promote each other. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way it works. Is if we all kind of. I mean, I know not everyone gets along, but just do your best to help everyone out. I mean, it's been me and I've been kind of around doing the comic stuff. I've only been doing like actual comics for like 4 years now. I was doing illustration and stuff before, and just doing my own thing. I do a lot of like, these websites where you like Redbubble and TeePublic and stuff like that, where
yes,
you can go buy like a mashup of Scooby Doo and whatever, that kind of stuff. I was kind of doing that before, but I was a good boy. I was just doing the license. I was just getting stuff licensed and doing it properly. I don't put knockoff stuff out there. Incidentally, if anyone wants a really cool Grinch T-shirt, go to TeePublic. My email. I get an email every time I sell one, and my email's just. I had to turn off notifications this time of year. The Grinch.
I'll have to check that out.
Getting the license to do the Grinch has been my Christmas present money for the last few years. Thank you, Grinch.
Thank you, Grinch. He saved Christmas.
And he did. He saved Christmas. And thank you for not going. Oh, you can't sell that. You can have a license. Thank you.
That is awesome. I will check that out. I didn't realize that was out already.
I have got a few weird licenses that I'm allowed to do, bizarre stuff. But it's all good. I've got the license to do Groundhog Day merchandise. The movie, the Bill Murray movie. What?
How did you manage to do that?
One of the websites I sold to, they've got a program where it's like you can create the artwork, upload it, and then they'll show it to the license holder, and it gets like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So luckily, I got thumbs up a lot. I got like the license to do Jaws and Rick and Morty and a few other things.
That's incredible.
Weird. I got a license to do some Star Wars stuff, but not other Star Wars stuff. It's weird. They're very specific. You can do this character. You can do this. You can do this in this style, but you can't. If you change your style, you can't sell it. I mean, I don't.
Is that because it's now owned by Disney, or has that always been the case, do you think?
I don't know if that's. I think it's probably Disney doing that. But then you also find that you'll do some artwork and they'll give it the thumbs down, and then you'll find the artwork or something very similar on their official store. It's like, oh, you dicks! Oh, you dicks!
That's underhand.
That's just Disney that do that, though.
You don't say.
Yeah. I look a couple of years ago, they were actually doing DMCA strikes on fan art. On Facebook, yeah, quite a lot of people uploading. Just draw the picture, not selling it, not doing anything.
Not
just
doing
upload
anything.
it.
Just
just upload to Facebook and get like a take this down.
Wow. Yeah.
Weird, but they've stopped doing that now. But they went a bit too far with that one.
Yes, I remember that. They got a lot of criticism, obviously, and then we had, I think it was they got to the point where they weren't allowing characters to be used for children's gravestones, for example. And
yeah, that was Marvel.
Yeah, that was Marvel. Yeah. I think it was Disney as well that some of theirs, like Winnie the Pooh, for example. But yeah, they got a lot of pushback, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that happening with the Spider-Man with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just. Whoever decided to say no to that is a turd. Just a horrible person.
I know. Who says no to something like that? I mean, really.
Yeah.
I've got to ask, I know that you're a massive horror fan. You did a show recently about Frankenstein's monster, about the Universal. Is this something that you've always had a passion for?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Since I was a kid, dinosaurs and monsters. Dinosaurs and monsters all the way. My favourite toy as a child was I had a creature from the Black Lagoon. That was awesome. Creature from the Black Lagoon and an Allosaurus. And the Allosaurus used to fight with the creature all the time. And then Star Wars came out.
That's the comic I need to see.
Yeah. I mean, we are doing a dinosaur book. I don't know when we're going to get around to it. I've done the first 5 pages. So. I don't know if you heard of Hardcore Pornosaur.
I have not, no.
Hardcore Pornosaur. Mandy wrote, you get these weird erotica novels.
Oh, yeah.
Weird, dinosaur porn, weird shit. So Mandy did a parody of that. And it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Isn't that Rule 34? If it exists, there's a porn of it somewhere. Yeah.
Hers is definitely a parody of it. So that's on Amazon. You can go and buy the novella on there. But people asked, will you do a graphic novel or a comic? So yeah, we are indeed.
Okay. That one I'm going to have to back. That sounds amazing.
It's fantastic. It's everyone. I mean, even some of the ex-pros that are in comics get John Mayland loves the idea. Hardcore Pornosaur is just do it.
Is that going to be the official title, or is that a working title?
That's what the book's called. That's Hardcore Pornosaur. Yeah, it opens with a woman. She's off on vacation, off on her holidays, on the plane, flying along, and then the plane gets attacked by velociraptors riding on the back of pterodactyls. And the velociraptors get into the plane, and then it all goes from there. And there's a lost island and a romance between a young lady and a T-Rex.
This sounds like an amazing film, and the perfect person to be in it would be Nicolas Cage.
Absolutely, yes. You should do that. Nicolas Cage should be in everything.
I completely agree. Every film, every TV show until the end of time, I have a massive soft spot for Nicolas Cage.
Some people diss him, but there's only maybe a handful of movies where it's a bit, where he kind of screws up and he goes a bit over the top. There's only a handful of those. The rest of them are cool. Lately, he's been killing it. He's been awesome.
He's been doing incredibly well. Yeah, we were talking in the green room before we went live, and we were saying that we're actually really looking forward to Renfield when that comes out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got who's the kid playing? I say kid. He's probably 30 or something or whatever. Playing Renfield. I can't remember his name. Nicholas something, is it? No, not. He's not.
Oh, it's the one from Warm Bodies, isn't it? Is it?
That's the guy. Yeah, him. Yeah.
Nicholas. Is it Holt? Nicholas Holt, something like that. Yeah.
His name is Nicholas as well. That's 2 Nicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's good. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He was
He
in.
is.
Was he in something like Skins? Remember Skins?
Something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, he does the kind of weird roles. He was in, wasn't he in Mad Max as well? The
Yeah,
Fury Road,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I think he's. I'm sure he did. There was some TV show and he played like was it an autistic kid or something? And that was really good in that as well. Can't remember what it was.
Project Storytime says I want Christopher Walken to be the voice of the good pterodactyl riding the velociraptor. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's what we need. I've drawn the first 5 pages of that. So there's if you look on Twitter, if you look on my Twitter or Mandy's Twitter, you'll find them. It's so velociraptors on pterodactyls attack the plane, and then the velociraptors get on the plane, they kill the pilot, and it all goes wrong. It's ridiculous, but I've drawn it like it's funny and it's silly, but I've drawn it straight as though it's not a comedy. I'm trying, so that it's like the way that Mandy's written the book. It's the same thing. It's ridiculous, but it's written kind of straight. So it's weird. It's funny as hell. It's
well, it goes back to that homage, doesn't it? It's kind of like an homage to the pulp that we used to have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing that I kind of love. So I jumped at the chance of getting to draw like dinosaurs on a lost island, even if it is a romance story about it. I just want to draw. I just want to reach the point where I get to draw like a T-Rex with this tiny little arm, like silhouetted on the beach with the sunset, just walking hand in hand with his stumpy little arm. That's going to be hilarious.
Do you have a kind of project that you would love to do? Is there something that you've never done yet that is in the back of your mind that you would love to kind of get out and explore?
This is it, Jack the Ripper. This is it.
This is it.
This is the one. I've kind of got. We've not really talked much about future books in the series, but I've got an idea of what I want to do. But I've not talked to Mandy about it yet, so who knows? she might say, no, you're not doing Eric Morecambe, Werewolf Slayer. You're not doing.
So this is a case of watch this space. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got an idea of kind of where I want it to go.
I love the idea. I mean, we were talking about Spring-Heeled Jack. I always found that fascinating as well.
Yeah, I actually drew a few like pictures of Spring-Heeled Jack while I was working on this, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But they aren't going to see the light of day.
That's a shame.
That's a weird, he was a weird character, Spring-Heeled Jack, just basically the boogeyman, for London
pretty
at
much.
that time.
Yes.
Behave yourself or else. And just a lot of things got blamed on Spring-Heeled Jack, murders and things getting stolen and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, he became this kind of, like you say, boogeyman. It's this larger than life character that, just evolved as people started talking about him.
Lots of sightings of him around London and like descriptions of him. He went from being, in some cases, he was just like basically a werewolf with wings. Mm-hmm. And in some other cases, it was like a half-naked woman with bat wings, and it's weird.
Yes.
Or just a sitting. It was basically, a lot of people were saying he was the devil as well, because the artwork is like a top hat. So it's a devil dude with a top hat and the goat legs,
Yes, he was described as being almost metallic in some type, almost like an alien. He shot fire from his mouth, all these kind of weird outlandish things that people just kept adding. It was like it's Chinese whispers where somebody hears something and then they pass it on to somebody else, and it just gets a little bit further from the truth.
Yeah, not that I don't think there was a truth, unless it was. I mean, I don't know. Some of the descriptions, it's very similar to the Jersey Devil. Some of the descriptions are very close. So who knows? Aliens.
And Project Summertime says, love Mandy. Like, what?
Hey.
We love Mandy. She's a real sweetheart. And hello to Master of TDS. He says, my wife and I backed this comic. Sprinkle Jack is an interesting one. Man could jump impossible heights and breathe fire.
Yeah. Someone's going to do a comic of this now. Sprinkle Jack. Someone's going. I haven't got time to draw all the stuff I want to.
No, just claim it quickly. Pete's going to put his name on it.
We're kind of reaching the point now where there's so much stuff, so many book ideas we've got, and like designs kicking around, stuff that Mandy's come up with, stuff that I've come up with, that we're going to have to start thinking about employing people. Like getting other artists in and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's just having the money to do it.
And time, of course.
Time, yeah.
How do you find it collaborating with other people? Do you really enjoy it? Do you find it fulfilling?
It has its moments. It's good. I work really well with Mandy and with Wyatt Holiday.
Oh, Wyatt's a sweetheart.
So I'm locked in with them now because I can't really see myself. I get offers. I get people like saying, "Oh, will you draw a book?" And it's like, I ain't got time. Plus, me and Mandy kind of get each other, and me and Wyatt on the same page with stuff. And she describes something, and I don't know what she means. You know. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get it wrong, and I get shouted at. No. She's a harsh taskmaster.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Well, no, she's not. She's awesome. We work really well together. So
you really do, and you can tell whenever you're on streams together, or whenever you're just talking, you can tell that there's a real kind of bond and friendship between you. You guys just get what each other's saying. You're on the same page entirely.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this with Mandy like 3 years now, and Wyatt too. But I mean, we're kind of, because I did Rocket Girl with Wyatt, but now Rocket Girl has been published by Stuntman Comics, so we're the whole team's together now. The next Rocket Girl, whenever I get time to start it, that's been written by Wyatt and Mandy, so co-writing that one. Yeah, and then we got the Mandy promotion machine. We'll roll on with that one. It's just we can't do it too close to Pirate Queen because it's kind of hot space chicks. So
yes, well, can't go wrong with hot space chicks.
You can't.
How different was it going from Pirate Queen onto Jack the Ripper?
Pirate Queen isn't me. Pirate Queen's Clint.
Yeah.
You mean? Well, I mean, I started off, the first book I did was with Umbrella Guy, so that was like the Case of the List Umbrella. I kind of designed the characters for that and I did the backup stories because he wanted more manga style for the main story, and that's not me. So you can take all these jobs on, but you have to know your limits. That's not my style. So I just did the backup stories. So I did that, and then I kind of rolled into, I did a cover for Mandy for Walk the Wizard, but the book she did originally, where she drew it all, she did everything, drew it, lettered it, wrote it, which is insane, and she made $17,000 on that. Just incredible. So what did I do after that? I moved on to Rocket Girl, which is kind of cartoony-ish. Then we did Super Dead, which is like a more American style superhero comic, but horror. So that was a change in style again. And then I did Walk the Wizard, which is like kids, more child kind of cartoony style. That was because I remastered the first book as well, redrew the first book. So that was like 120 pages altogether. That nearly killed me. And then we jumped from that to Jack the Ripper. But all the time I was doing Walk the Wizard, we were kind of like got the Jack the Ripper thing in the back of the mind going on. So I'd draw like 2 or 3 pages of Walk the Wizard, and then have to go and draw some really foul, heinous horror stuff, super detailed, you know, just to balance it out, because you kind of you forget, and there's a lot of different like muscle memory involved, especially when you're cross hatching on a picture or whatever, or doing like really fine detail. If you've just been drawing like cartoon characters and then you go and try and draw like a page from Jack the Ripper, it takes a good few hours before you get your hand and eye back in.
Yes, it's like you say, it's muscle memory, isn't it? Because the styles are so different. Yes.
And even because look, I'm old and the hands aren't as awesome as they used to be. And I also I managed to develop tendonitis in my hand, so
ooh, ouch.
That hurts. So it takes a bit of warming up these days to get me going. So yeah, I'll spend at least 2 hours before I even start drawing the Jack the Ripper pages. I'll spend a couple of hours doing other stuff. But it's all stuff we'll put it, it's good stuff. So the artwork that I'll warm up doing, we'll end up doing as prints or posters or do a t-shirt with it or whatever. So it's all used. Everything gets used. I'm very streamlined with that kind of stuff now. Nothing goes to waste.
I'd love to see it, and I love to see sketches that people do, because you can see that the work that they've put into it.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to do to live stream drawing some of the Jack the Ripper pages, but spoilers, spoilers plus. I mean, drawing a page of that, it'd be like one page would be I don't know, 26-hour live stream, something like that. I mean, some of the pages I can do in a day, just about. Well, maybe 2 days. And some of them take a week. It's been interesting.
It's a real passion project for you. It sounds.
It is. I'm still working really fast, but it's just that amount of detail and stuff going into it that it's like drawing one page of Jack the Ripper is like drawing 20 pages of War the Wizard. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Master of the TDS has a question. He says, I'm curious, Peter, what advice would you have for someone who used to draw, but due to various factors has completely lost heart?
Oh, God. Look, I do. I'd have days I wake up and I'm like, no, not another day just drawing all day again. I mean, I love what I do, but I do have my moments. I would say, I don't know. Just start working on your own thing. Come up with some ideas for characters. Just draw your own stuff, or pick a character that you're really passionate about. It's the subject matter usually. If you something that fires your imagination, and that'll bring back the desire to draw stuff, I think. I just doodle stuff. When you're watching TV at night, just get a scrap of paper and just doodle. You'll get back into it easily. And you should, because now is the time to be doing stuff like this.
I think, as you say, if somebody's got the talent for it, it just needs that one thing to ignite the passion, and then you're off again. Yeah, I found that. I used to sculpt a lot, but I kind of went away from it a bit. But now I've started doing it again, and it's relaxing. It's not something that I do, for any other reason than I find it enjoyable.
I'm the same. I mean, I'm drawing comics all day long at the moment, but I love getting the oil paints out. I've not done it in a long time. I used to. I used to make quite a nice chunk of money doing oil paintings and gouache and whatever, and sculpting stuff too, the modelling and I lived down in Bristol for a while. When I was down there, I mean, a long time ago, I used to make like out of clay and whatnot, like dragons and stuff. And
that's what I do. Yeah, fantasy creatures. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do all kinds of stuff. I used to make, that milliput stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's they use that to fix holes in North Sea oil pipes. It's fantastic stuff. You can make something out of that and throw it against the wall, and the wall will break. It's incredible. So I used to make. I made like pipes and stuff. Like, so I'd do like Gandalf's head, and you tipped his hat back, and that was a pipe bowl. And I used to make all kinds of stuff like that out of it. And yeah, just make dragons and whatnot, and like scratch build figures for D&D and Warhammer. Just to do all that. I don't have time to do it anymore.
No, but again, it's like you say, and it's like Master of TVS saying, it's just having that kind of spark brought back. It's still there. It's still there within you. But even Peter was saying earlier, and Master of TDS said about an art teacher that was discouraging. Don't listen to them. Listen to you, because you have it within you.
Absolutely. And plus, I mean, also every now and then I'll just pick up a guitar. Just to do something different.
That's awesome.
I very musical. Been in quite a few bands back in the day. Yeah. Bit of guitar, bit of bass, better on the bass. Bit of keyboards, bit of drums, bit of singing, songwriting, all that stuff. Yeah. It's always creative stuff. Music. I do music. I mean, even the chef stuff, that's kind of creative as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you've always had a passion to create. So no matter what it is, it's
a passion to not have a real job.
No, we need more creators out there. The chat are talking about it at the moment. There are plenty of people who can, teach, and that teaching is a fantastic profession. But having something that you can bring to life, whether it's artwork, whether it's sculpting, whether it's writing, whether it's songwriting, that is an incredible gift to have.
It is, and don't waste it. If you're good at something, just do it. Just do it. And even if you think you're not good enough, keep at it, and you will be good enough. I mean, if you look at like the first thing I did when I started doing the comics, look at that, and then look what I'm doing now. And that's although that is kind of 4 years of, I think I've had like 7 days off.
Oh my gosh.
Even Christmas Day last year, I kind of like did all the Christmas stuff, and then like in the evening I was like drawing. I think I was drawing. It was either Walk the Wizard or Walk the Wizard. Yeah, I'm just like, get a page then. Screw it.
But that's a sign of somebody who is passionate about what they do. You're not forcing yourself to do it. You do it because it's something that you want to do.
I get a weird thing where if I'm not, I don't know. Normally, when you've got like a normal job, a 9-to-5 job, you can't wait to get home and just chill and do stuff. I can't. Because I'm working for myself and whatever. It's not because I have to. I just feel like if I'm not drawing stuff, I'm kind of wasting my time. It's weird. If I'm not doing something constructive, it's my days at the moment are wake up, draw, go to bed, kind of, and then I get like live streams like this. Yeah. Where I get, this is like my free time. This is my funsy time when I get to the live stream and what? Yay! It's
And as you were saying, not at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I used to stream with Mandy all the time, but even that, if I'm streaming, I'm not drawing. So, she's taking the reins on all that stuff now. Like I say, well-oiled machine. I do my thing, she does her thing. We get shit done.
You guys are a fantastic team, and you can tell just by how successful you've been with the campaigns. Before we wrap up today, obviously Jack the Ripper is the current campaign. Guys, if you haven't backed it, please do, because as you can see, Peter has put so much work and detail into this. It really is an incredible piece of work.
Yeah, and the pages that people haven't seen, being me, I'd show everything off, but I got shouted at, get told off. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to show things off, but it's like, but if I could just show this off, then we'd get even more people wanting to buy the book. This is cool. No, don't show it. There's some really cool shit. It's like some of the best stuff I've drawn, and like no one will see it until
they get the book. So guys, you've got to get the book.
You have. And I'm getting there on the pages. I mean, it's going to be a little later than we thought. But you know, I kind of got used to how long it took me to draw like Super Dead and things like that. I kind of went on that, how long it took to do a page. I was like, I can knock a page out a day, easy. No, not with this. Not with this. So I kind of, overpromised on the,
There's
but
that
it
girl.
is what it is.
Hey, sweetheart. There she
we've been
is.
saying nice stuff about you.
Oh, of course, as always. Hey, honey.
Yeah.
But it is a absolute incredible piece of work. As you can say, you can see the level of detail and the passion that's gone into this from everybody involved. Before we wrap up, what else have you got coming up? What can we have to look forward to?
Jack the Ripper. More pages. I do. Well, I do my stream. I do my horror stream with Crystal McGee. I've been over on her channel mostly, and then we did the first one on mine. So we're going to alternate. So this Friday coming, it'll be over on Crystal McGee's YouTube channel. If you search for It's McGee on YouTube, that's where you'll find her. We do kind of all the week's horror news, all the talk about new releases that are coming out, any kind of drama. Not that there's never really any drama with horror movies.
No, surprisingly, horror movies are pretty chill when it comes to that sort of thing.
I mean, there's been some wokery that's tried to creep in, but mostly the horror community is just go away. Horror movies have always been inclusive. There you go.
They really have, yeah. If you're going to pick a genre that's always kind of covered all bases, I would say horror is probably right up there.
Everybody gets to die a horrible death, no matter what. It's fantastic. Oh, there's so much cool shit happening, We were talking before, Nick Cage. Nick Cage is going to be Dracula. Yes!
I'm so excited for that. I can't tell you. And we were talking about the Lovecraft film that he did as well, Colorado Space. That was brilliant. So good.
He's really good in that.
And good morning to Loki. Hello, boss. Good to see you.
That you were talking about Colorado Space. I mean, he is a really good actor. I don't care what anyone says. He can do serious, he can do comedy, he can do whatever. And then he does that thing where he descends into madness and turns into a complete batshit lunatic.
Yes.
And he doesn't care either. He doesn't care about maybe looking a bit stupid or a bit whatever. He's just, if the role calls for it, I'll do it. It's fine. Prisoners of the Ghostland. Go watch that.
That is a good one. And Willy's Wonderland, that was a good one as well. God, that was a
fantastic.
Good
film. Yeah. I think it's the same character in Willy's Wonderland and Ghostland. The Prisoners of the Ghostland.
You think there's a connection between them?
I think there's
that as well. Yeah.
It's a costume. Mm-hmm. It's It's probably not because they're set 300 years apart or something. But
I'm going to have to ask you back and we'll have to do a dedicated Nicolas Cage stream.
Yes, we should. He's done so much awesome stuff.
He really has. I love him. I've always had a soft spot for him. I know a lot of people make fun of him and he's made some bad decisions, money-wise, buying a mausoleum in New Orleans and that sort of thing. But
the people that make fun of him, the people that bitch about him and whatever, they don't understand. They don't understand the genius that is Nicolas Cage. And it sounds like I'm being sarcastic there or ironic or whatever. But
I get it.
I'm really not. He's, fantastic. And he was an awesome Ghost Rider. I don't care what anyone says.
Okay, this is a show that's going to happen. We're going to get a panel on and we're going to do a dedicated Nicolas Cage show. That's going to be amazing.
Right. Yes. Has to be done.
The bees, purple, the bees.
So, no, that wasn't his fault. The Wicker Man was not Nicolas Cage's fault. I blame the writers and the studio for that. He did the best he could. He stole a woman's bicycle in it. I need to get somewhere really quickly. I'm going to steal your bike. Well done.
It's a bizarre film.
And do you know what? Prisoners of the Ghostland, there's a nod to that, to the where he stole the bike from the woman in Wicker Man. There's a nod to that. It's fucking hilarious. Right at the very start of the movie, just genius, utter genius, and bizarre. Whatever. And he was also almost Superman.
Very nearly. Oh, that's an interesting story. Yeah, guys.
Yeah,
it's
we can
happen.
do all this. Sorry. Yeah, let's not talk about it now.
It's going to happen. We're going to do it. Oh, Peter, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an absolute treat to get to chat with you.
Probably didn't answer any questions properly. I didn't actually answer the question. I just went off on a tangent.
I love going off on tangents. That's why I love to do these kind of one-on-one interview shows where I can really kind of get to chat with a guest and our awesome chat as always. I love getting to talk to people. That's why I do the live streams. So a massive thank you to you. Cannot wait to get you back on. We're going to organise this Nick Cage tribute show, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
We should.
A massive thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys were on fire as always today. Huge thank you to everybody who sent super chats, to Cardinal Sin for joining. Fantastic to have you. Guys, if you haven't backed Jack the Ripper, please do. You can just see and the mods, massive thank you for putting the links out. How hard.
I'll put the mask on again and go on a rampage.
Be warned, it'll happen.
It'll happen. Oh yeah, you won't see it coming.
Guys, please do check out the campaign. I will be back later on this afternoon with the lovely Arwen. We have got Pink and Purple coming up in a few hours. And a massive thank you to my wonderful guest today. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to chat with you.
Awesome. Yeah, anytime.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys, and I hope to see you later on. Take care, everyone.